Kellen, we are not prepared for this project at all. What's up, mother? It's me, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I wrote The Great Gatsby, and I'm about to tell you about that, bro. So me, F. Scott Fitzgerald, I was born in 1896. I went to Princeton, but you know what, kids? School. And then I met this girl named Generva, and boy, she was THICC thick. I wrote so many letters to her, but sadly, I could not get with Generva. And I settled for this woman named Zelda. Now, she was not as thick, but you know, we enjoyed listening to that jazz music and drinking heavily. You should always drink, you know, do that as much as you want. There's no consequences to that at all. And we had a kid. Her name is Frances. Enough about me. The Great Gatsby it's about this fella named Nick. Nick, he moves to this place called West End. That's where all the people who are rich, but like new rich, like you know that song Bad and Bougie by Migos. He's like, we ain't got a lot of old money, we got a lot of new money though. Hey, raindrop, drop top, smoking up, looking up. Yeah, it's like that. And so yeah, that was Nick, right? And he lives next to this mansion. That's where Gatsby lives. And so he's gonna go see his cousin, Daisy, who's married to this Tom. Daisy is clearly unhappy with this man, and Tom is he's got a side bitch in the city. Kids, don't marry a racist like Tom, okay? And so when Nick goes to Tom and Daisy's mansion, he is introduced to Jordan, who's a golfer. He then goes home and he sees his neighbor just staring across the lake at this green light. That's weird, and that's Gatsby. That's Gatsby staring at the green light. And so one day, Tom introduces Nick to his girlfriend Myrtle, who is actually married to this guy named George. And so George is straight up getting cucked right now, bro. They end up partying at this apartment that Tom has in the city.
Hey! Raindrops, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot box.
You know, where he goes to. And so one day, Nick is at his house and is invited to Gatsby's party.
All set. Woo, 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 woo. Records on records.
Nick goes to this party and sees Jordan. He sees Jordan at the party, and Jordan introduces him to Gatsby. You know, the guy who's in the title of the book. And apparently, Nick and Gatsby were both in the war. The World War. You know, hopefully there's not a second one of those. Because of that, they sort of formed this friendship. And Gatsby's driving Nick around and telling him about he graduated from Princeton and stuff. He's like, yo, Nick, I graduated from Princeton. But Nick is all like, yo, this Gatsby dude's full of shit. He didn't go to Princeton. Jordan tells Nick about Gatsby and Daisy, and and how they were in love. And so Gatsby is he's trying to get that's where you cut to a later part. Gatsby and Nick have this plan, and it works. Gatsby ends up having an affair with Daisy. Yeah, and so Gatsby and Daisy, they're like kind of together, but not. Nick, the narrator of the story, tells us his real past, about how Gatsby was super poor and a farmer. He joined the military, and that's how he met Daisy. You know, Jordan, Gatsby, Tom, Daisy, and Nick. And they're like, yo, let's go to a hotel for some reason. So they all go there, and Gatsby's like, yo, Tom, I've been your this whole time. And she never loved you. She never loved you. Daisy does what Gatsby says. He's like, yo, Tom, I never loved you. But then she's like, no, I did love you, Tom. Tom, in the ultimate act of cucking someone, tells Gatsby to take Daisy home. Like, oh my god, that is the most baller thing ever. To tell the man who loves your wife to take her home, knowing nothing's gonna happen. And so, Gatsby and Daisy go home. And so, they go home, but they see that there's a commotion going on. And that Myrtle was hit by a car. They were hit by Gatsby and Daisy. Nick is at Tom and Daisy's house, right? And he's like, who's that? Because he sees someone, and it's Gatsby. It's to make sure that Tom doesn't hit Daisy. Like, what a sweet guy, you know? Apparently, it wasn't Gatsby driving, it was Daisy. And Gatsby loves Daisy so much that he's willing to take the fall for her. After all this, Myrtle's husband, George, he's like, who killed my wife? He goes and he comes to the conclusion that Gatsby was the one who killed Myrtle. And he goes to Gatsby's house while he's chilling in the pool and kills him. And so Nick is sad about all this. And he starts to get woke and realize that no one really cared about Gatsby. Like, no one at the parties. No one goes to Gatsby's funeral. Tom and Daisy straight up just bounced. And then Nick moves back home to Minnesota. And that's the end of the Great Gatsby.
Hey, we did the most, yeah. Pull up and goes, yeah. My diamonds a choker, holding up out with no holster. Read the ruler, diamond cooler. This a roller, not a mule. Dabbing on them like the usual. Magic with the brick do voodoo. Courtside with a bad.